Welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle, a podcast dedicated to all things Disney with a British accent. Today, we're thrilled to be joined by Gill and Peter, who are finally sharing the details of their long-awaited trip to Tokyo. Get ready to embark on the journey through Tokyo Disney and DisneySea as Gill and Peter recount their unforgettable experiences. Whether you're planning your own trip to Japan or simply seeking a dose of Disney inspiration, this episode is packed with helpful tips and insights. Stay tuned to hear their recommendations for must-see attractions, dining experiences and strategies for making the most of your visit. Not only am I joined by Gill and Peter, I'd also like to welcome Becca and John. I hope you're all keeping well and have recovered from our mammoth-long 100th episode. We didn't quite make 100 hours, but I think we tried.
All in, we've probably got about 100 hours.
I think it might be more than that.
Oh dear.
Do you know something?
Yes.
Even going back and listening to all that again was such an absolute giggle from start to finish, and actually, I think for all of us, it just told that real journey that we've actually been on over 4.5 years. So if you've missed it, go back and check out the start of the month podcast, because it really is. It's a show that's got just everything in it, and a good nod back to some of the things that we did before, because it was so funny. It really was. I think I've only just recovered.
Was, yes.
Yeah, definitely. There were so many just funny moments and just stuff that I didn't realise we did until actually 100 episodes. What could you sum up what we did? Apart from we just had an awful lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that fun continuing. But absolutely. I know we're all here tonight and also probably a little bit jealous at the minute because there's quite a few members of the team missing, and that are currently in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, we're the ones left in the UK with the snow and the ice, and and it's just like it's cold. It's so hopefully when people are listening to this, you take a little bit of inspiration from those who are left behind. I think that's
holding down the fort.
That's it, Becca. I think that's a real nice way of looking at it.
Yeah.
We are the select quality team.
Yeah.
With a backup.
Yeah. We're the ones who can't afford to. We're the ones who can't afford to be in Walt Disney World at the moment. That's true.
That's true. That is true.
That is true.
I can't say anything. We've not long come back.
And we're already thinking of that next trip. It doesn't happen. It doesn't matter whether it's minutes back from your trip to Walt Disney World or any other Disney park. You just get to that moment where you go, I just need to be back there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to tonight because this is going to be a really good show, because we're going to be talking about going to Tokyo, and it's something that's always been on our bucket list. And I'm hoping that tonight we'll be able to provide a lot of planning tips for what to maybe do or not do on your first trip to Tokyo.
Yes.
So, Gill, Peter, you've just come back, or maybe a few weeks ago, but how was it? What, if in a nutshell, did it live up to your expectations?
Yes, and more. Particularly DisneySea. DisneySea we knew would be good, but it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. If you think the queues have been big for Soarin' in the US, you haven't seen anything. The Soarin' is still quite a new ride in Tokyo, and the queues are massive. They are,
several hours long.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A couple of hours long at least.
Take Hagrid and double it.
Yeah.
And I will say that we didn't get to do it. We could have paid to skip the queue, but we chose not to. But the pre-show is different and the setup is different, but the ride is not that different apparently. So we chose to skip it.
So is it soaring around the world, or is it soaring over California?
It's around the world.
Okay.
But I think they end up going over Tokyo at the end.
Rather than, yeah.
Okay.
Got
Is that queuing the same for every ride though? That's the bit that intrigues me, because if you're saying it's like that for Soaring, is that across both parks, and is it something that maybe became I don't want to go down the negative side because you said you had such an amazing time, but this is something that as someone who, if you're planning, is this something you really
Mhm.
need to factor in? That's probably the cusp of the question.
Yeah. I would say, obviously, we can only speak from our experience. We went beginning of November, and 8th of November was the beginning of the Christmas season. And that is a big deal. So that
Okay.
meant that a lot of people were in the parks from then on. However, our first day was the 7th, and that was the first time we did Tokyo DisneySea. And most rides, no, the queues were not bad. There are certain rides that are really crazily popular. And fortunately for people who are used to the American parks, the two most popular rides, crazily popular, are Soaring with a G and Toy Story Midway Mania, both in DisneySea. And they get crazy, crazy queues. So we felt quite justified in skipping both of those.
I don't blame you. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
When you look at different Disney parks, and even when we've been to like Disneyland Paris, there's a version of like Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin, and it's like you think, okay, I've done that. If the queue's long, I'll skip it because I know what
Yeah.
that is. And
Yeah.
there's quite a lot of unique things in Tokyo that I've
Yeah.
seen that you'd probably be best spending off the time there. So going back to sort of your planning for your trip, how many days did you have in the parks, and did you spend some time like visiting other places in Tokyo?
Go on, I'll do that one. Yeah, we had 4 days in the park, and we were going to have 2 days in Tokyo, and we had 1 day in Hakone. Hakone is an area outside of Tokyo where basically that's where Mount Fuji is.
Okay.
Okay, and people have to go and see Mount Fuji. It's great, but
Yeah.
but you go down to. We didn't go on the mountain. We went to Lake Ashi, which is this beautiful lake, or it is beautiful, but it wasn't when we went because it was raining and it was foggy. So you couldn't see Mount Fuji. You could hardly see the banks
Oh,
of the
no.
lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for Brits, it was kind of like the Lake District,
Yeah.
only with a very different idea of what a tea shop is.
Okay.
But yeah, we didn't really see Mount Fuji. We went over the sulfur pits. We could smell it. But yeah, it was a bit of a waste of a day, really, because the weather was so bad.
But we committed
It's a
to
bit
it.
like when you try and go see the Northern Lights, is you don't know whether it's going to be,
Yeah.
are you going to get the view that you
Yeah.
hope to get, but no.
Yeah. We did also have a food walk in Tokyo, booked with a tour company, and that was wonderful. We had 9 of us all taken to various different little restaurants and cafes and stalls and things.
We were the only non-Americans.
Yes. And we had the most wonderful food. And we got to go up afterwards up the government tower, which is an observation tower. It was 45 floors, and it's free.
And that's free.
And you get the most wonderful views of Tokyo. But we gave up one of our Tokyo days to go back to Tokyo Disneyland because we felt that 2 days was simply not enough.
Yeah. So that food tour, was that actually in Tokyo itself?
Yes.
It was, yes.
In the city. And what was that actually like?
Yeah.
Was it actually exploring the food, sort of proper Tokyo based dining? Because that, to me, that culture clash, and not just for people from Britain but also for Americans as well, must be a really intriguing part of actually trying to get the cultural side right. And also, you can go and explore Disney parks, but you really want to absorb so much of a culture which is so different than ours. And how was that?
The guide is a local. The guides are. We went with a company called Secret Food Tours. who we've done Paris and we've done Rome with. And the guides are always locals, and they know the culture and they know the food culture. And they take you to places that can be slightly off the beaten track, but are really nice. And this is the most food we've ever had on a tour. This is the most places we've been and the longest tour we've ever done with them.
Yeah.
At one point, you had a full meal.
Yeah.
As well as all the bits around. It was far too much.
It was nearly 4 hours long.
It was,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So what?
Yeah.
What was it? What was it you were eating? That's the other thing.
Gyoza, little dumplings, pot stickers.
They like to call them in America.
Yeah. What else did we have?
We had matcha ice cream.
Matcha ice cream and meat croquettes that we ate in the park.
What was the meal we had? We
had a sukiyaki
meal,
which is very thin sliced beef cooked on a griddle in front of you in sauce with rice and veg.
And you have a raw egg that you dip the beef in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All sorts of things,
and
really.
Lots of local delicacies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of different things.
Yeah.
How much was the tour?
We paid in pounds, didn't we?
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and
We'll put
that's
it in the
okay.
notes.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
No, that's good. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting because
would.
I think there's always been a hesitation when you're visiting a foreign country. Even when the first time we went to America, it's like, okay, you think of everything else, but then, I've got to think of what am I going to eat? Where am I going to eat?
Yeah.
What if there's like dietary requirements? It's something you try and think of, because you don't want to just go there and just have nuggets. Like you do, like they can easily do in America, isn't it? It's like I will go for the beige thing on the menu. I want to try what the locals are trying, and I know Epcot always gives us that flavour of around the world, but it's actually very different when you're in that country.
Yeah, I mean we've been with this company before several times, and we would always look up, do they do a tour wherever we're going, because they're so good.
They're so good, and they always have an extra upgrade for an alcohol package.
Ooh,
if you want local alcohol, which is very nice.
And a discount for your next booking.
Yeah. So, but we had gyoza, we had the matcha ice cream, we had sukiyaki. What else did we have?
Can't remember. Everything was so good, though.
By that time, you were in a food coma.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But also, you learn about the area that you're walking around, which isn't necessarily the most touristy area. You learn about the history. She was taking us to all these restaurants. That this place has been here 65 years. This place is like fourth generations of the same family.
And we went around the market as well and got some stuff from the markets. Yeah. It was really, really
so
good.
let me work this out. So you did 4 days in the parks. Is that right?
We ended up doing 5 days.
5 days in the parks. So your trip was a week?
It was 9 days.
Yeah,
Not 9 days. So
9 days,
when you've got the
Including
sort of
travel.
time difference and when you lose a day on the way out there, but you gain it on the way back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We actually flew around the world, because we flew in over Europe and flew back over Canada.
Oh, okay.
So we literally flew right around.
All you need to
cruising time the whole way.
See, somehow you need to fit in Paris, Shanghai, Hong Kong. Have stop at Lani and Disneyland and do the whole lot.
Maybe some plans for Anaheim in the making.
So,
Oh, cool.
Watch this space.
I think there's quite a few of us talking about Disneyland at the minute.
So whereabouts did you stay?
We stayed in an official hotel, which is kind of like staying at Swan and Dolphin.
Okay.
If you like. But the monorail goes round the whole situation. Okay. And because it encompasses everything, under Japanese law, you have to pay for it. It isn't free. Yeah. So if you go from the parks, the official hotels and the Disney Toy Story Hotel are in this area, Bayside area, which is near Tokyo Bay. And we stayed in the Grand,
The Sheraton
Grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Which is
it's
quite
literally
dark, really
opposite
nice.
Bayside Station, monorail station. There is, for those of us who are either lazy or old and creaky or laden down with toddlers, there is a little shuttle bus that goes the 5-minute journey between the hotel and the metro and the monorail. And I have to say, yeah, we tended to use it, particularly after a long day walking around the parks. But it really is across the road.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's really easy to go around on the monorail to the different parks and to their equivalent of Disney Springs, which is Xperi. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get from Disney to Tokyo itself?
About 40 minutes.
About 40 minutes,
Right.
Yeah.
But depending whether you got the stopping train or the express train.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to do the bullet train?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
We did.
Yes, we did.
It's great.
It's great.
Once you're on it, it doesn't really feel that different from any other train. It's just that, the journey is shorter. But when you're standing in the station and you see them coming past.
And you just,
Wow.
Yeah.
And also, once you look out the window, you can tell that it's going faster than a normal train.
Yeah.
you just
Everything
pass
is a
landmarks
bit-
and everything. So all these trees are
Whoa.
moving. It's just,
Yeah. And they're very comfortable trains.
Yeah.
They're looking
The
incredible.
monorails, though, the monorails are next level.
Monorails at Disney, yes.
Yes, the monorails at Disney are next level. The
They
windows
don't have the
make-
stink or the stench from a Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, see, they're missing a trick there. That's
Yeah.
it.
And they don't have
That's what
Por favor,
everybody
me
wants.
cangues Alejandro Las Puertas either.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm hoping they
Yeah.
have the Japanese version.
I was
They
Yeah.
had
thinking
some
that as well.
Japanese.
Yeah.
They had some Japanese and some English, but the windows are Mickey shaped. The little handles are Mickey shaped and have little Mickey designs on them. Their 40th anniversary monorail. If you get the 40th anniversary one, you get the theme song, which is Living in Colour. You get that everywhere you go. You get decorations within the monorail, characters, everything on the walls. It's just next level.
And at one point, we had cast members coming around with a monorail captain's hat, and everybody tries on the hat, and then they take a photo of you with your camera,
Oh, that's nice.
and then you give them the hat back, and they go to the next. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah,
I actually thought you were going to say, and then they ask you for $20.
about 500 yen. Yeah,
Take your photo and here's the bill.
Yeah.
And
Just even thinking about that speaking Japanese part of it, and this intrigues me because I even when I know people are going to Paris and it's different, and you know that certainly when you arrive either in the airport or you arrive in the train station in Paris, the language can be a barrier for certain people. How did you find that when you actually arrive and you've got certainly nothing that is in any way, shape, or form as familiar as French, and you're sort of bombarded with sort of the Japanese equivalent? Was it quite easy to follow? Was it actually something that they put a translation in or whatever? Because I've never been, and it's something that maybe for some people that would be a barrier to them actually even thinking of going to Japan.
There's lots of English.
Yeah.
It's American English.
Yeah.
But there's still lots of English.
There is English signage all over the place in Tokyo and certainly in Disney. You will never have a problem with signage. We found that the hotel staff and the Disney CMs mostly spoke some English. If there was a problem, they tended to use the translator app on their phones. So they would type something in and then pass it over to us and sort of show us what they meant. And we could say something into the phone and it would translate it for them.
And also, it was
I've seen a lot of that in
easy to
Disneyland
use.
Paris, actually, with cast members.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, it's most of them know English anyway, but it's one of those things. When you try the language and there's that barrier, it's just nice how the cast members feel that extra. It removes that barrier.
Yeah.
Age.
absolutely.
But we mostly got by with konnichiwa, hello, arigato, thank you, and sumimasen, which means excuse me or sorry. And that's really all we needed
Yeah.
most of the time.
That's good.
Oh wow.
Is there any actual? Is there any actual? I'm sort of digging into this before we jump in on the Disney part of it, but culturally, I'm very aware that you go to a country such as Japan, who are massively into their own rituals and their own culture, and you need to be very aware of that when you turn up, and certainly certainly wouldn't want to kind of insult them in any way, shape, or form. Is there anything as you're turning up there for the first time that you really needed to be sort of on point about?
Not really. I think they are very forgiving. Obviously, we're not
Tourists, they're
Japanese.
very forgiving.
You know, they can see straight away that we're not Japanese, and so they're very forgiving and very understanding. Obviously, we try to do things like, for example, you don't hand somebody money in their hand. You put it on a little tray.
Yeah.
And you try and, if you give things or take things, you use both hands. Although that was difficult for me because I was hobbling a lot of the time and I was using a stick. So, but yeah, people are very understanding and very forgiving.
There's no tipping.
Yeah,
No tipping at all.
absolutely. Do not tip.
And they will just look at you like you said they got two heads.
Yeah.
If you try to give them a tip,
Yeah.
they just won't take it.
Also, one important difference is there's no kind of customizing food. There's no hold the mayo or I don't like carrots or whatever. If you don't like carrots or you can't eat carrots, then
Don't
choose a
order
dish
something with
that
it.
doesn't have carrots in.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It comes as it comes.
Particularly what they call
There's something quite nice about that, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hate customizing food. I hate.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean, it's really awkward with it. So that would be perfect for me because I just look at a menu and go, "Well, I don't like that, so I'm not going to have that item."
I like it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
I don't go, "Oh,
Honestly,
I have that," but could you?
It's a bit like
Take
when
that off.
you're in front, you're in the queue at Starbucks, and it's like the person in front of you is somehow ordering like the most complicated drink ever, and then you just go,
Yes, absolutely.
latte,
Yeah.
please. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's,
I mean, obviously, Peter's allergic to bananas, and we needed to bear that in mind. And we did ask people, allergy, banana. But yeah, and it was not a problem anywhere we went.
oh, that's good.
There are lots of sets where you go which are set menus, and they definitely will not change the set.
Okay.
The set is what it is, and if you don't want anything on that set, you don't have that set.
Yeah, or just don't eat or whatever.
Or just
Sounds
don't eat.
good to me. Joe, this is
Sounds
old
fascinating.
school stuff. I love this. This is
Yeah.
It's like, it's
Far
like
better way of
when
dealing
you
with
go to a
stuff,
quick
isn't it?
service and it's like, okay, I'll have a one and that's it.
Yeah.
I'll have what's on that first set and that's it.
Yeah.
We did several buffets, and there was plenty of choice on the buffets. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Talking
fact, one of the
food,
buffets
what was
we
it
did-
like? What was it like in eating in the parks? Is it somewhere where, because I know where we've compared Disneyland Paris to Walt Disney World before, that there are an awful lot more snack options at Walt Disney World
There
than
are
what we find
a
at Disneyland
lot.
Paris.
Yeah.
What's
yes.
Tokyo like?
Even more snacks.
yes,
Lots of snacks and lots of character shape food. So there's a Mickey glove sandwich. There's a Donald's beak sandwich.
Yeah.
There's
so the bao bun is like Donald's beak or Donald's hands or whatever.
there's a couple of things like Baymax. There's a burger bun that has got Baymax's face on it.
There is also a place that does a curry dish which has a rice model of Baymax sitting in it.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Like sitting in a bath. But
yes.
unfortunately, queues never went beyond 90 minutes. and
Okay.
we tried to make a booking, and there
there
was
was
no
just
way.
none. Yeah.
That was the other big shock, was that food. You will queue 40 minutes for popcorn. You will queue 45 minutes for a
Ooh.
burger. You can queue over an
Wow.
hour or 90 minutes for a quick service meal.
It sounds like they need mobile
and-
order.
There, and it's coming.
It's coming.
Mobile order has just been rolled out when we were
Just.
there, but the only times we looked, it would have been much too late for
Yeah.
us to book.
And it's only in a couple of places at the
Yeah.
moment. I mean, the situation is so odd with the popcorn stands and everything that the app has wait times for popcorn
Yeah.
stands on it.
Yeah, that doesn't. What would
Yes.
I rather go? It's a Small World
Wow.
or queue for popcorn?
Queue for popcorn.
Yeah,
However,
No-brainer.
it depends what kind of popcorn you want.
yeah,
They have so many different flavors of popcorn, and the popcorn buckets are next level. They leave Walt Disney World's popcorn buckets in the dust.
Yeah.
We've got this one.
yeah. We bought the Beauty and the Beast one.
Go and get it, babe. So
Which, yeah, okay. You
Ju-
carry on.
Jill will go and get it. Yeah, they have soy sauce and butter popcorn. They have honey in Neapo's Honey Hunt. They've got honey.
Really?
They've got caramel. They've got all sorts of flavors.
sounds
Another big
impressive.
favourite is curried popcorn.
They've
Oh,
got a
that-
sour cream and chive
Ooh,
one that I really want to
ooh.
try.
Yes.
Oh wow!
So
Oh no.
this is a popcorn bucket. It lights up, as you can probably see,
yeah, that's.
and it's basically the opening of Beauty and the Beast
That's lovely.
in Windows.
Oh wow! Okay, I can see why you bought that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too right.
And it opens up.
I hope Walt Disney World are looking. They need to
Yeah.
up their game.
And it opens up here, doesn't it? Does it open up here? That's the hinge. So it must open up here. Yes, there you go.
There you go.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any popcorn in there, or did you just buy the bucket?
Yes.
Yeah, we got caramel popcorn.
That was, unsurprisingly, this was from Belle's Village, which I have to say was probably my favourite area of Fantasyland. It's much more spacious than the Walt Disney World version, so it really feels like a village.
Okay.
You when you're walking around, they play the music, obviously not just the music from the film, but also the stage show. So all the time in the queue while Peter was riding Space Mountain, I was humming all the tunes.
And that's something else about Tokyo. There is more space. The walkways are wider,
Okay.
much wider. And even if a park is really busy, it can feel like it's not too busy. But once you get on the rides and starting to have the queue, you realise how busy it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say, we did quite a few rides that didn't have too much of a queue. We did Roger Rabbit.
That was all
That
right.
didn't have much of a queue. We did Small World.
It was reasonably
Had a
big.
reasonable
It was
queue.
about 30 minutes.
Yeah, but there was a lot to look at.
Yeah.
What else did we do? Quite a few that didn't have too much of a queue.
Yes.
Also, and this is something to get onto, there are various ways to skip the queue, just like in the other parks. And this is where it gets complicated.
Right.
Because
Get your spreadsheets out and your equation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Ben. That's exactly
if you think Genie Plus in Walt Disney World is complicated, you ain't seen nothing yet. At the moment, they have one system called the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass. And those are for certain rides, and it is free.
Okay.
You can't book them until you're in the park. And when they're gone, they're gone. But we managed to do quite a few rides using that.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Then there is the paid for version, which is Disney's Premium Access.
which is more similar to Paris,
Yeah.
where
Okay.
you pay for an individual.
Each attraction.
Yeah. Yeah. You're given a few times to choose from. You choose your time, and that's it. You pay and you go. And in fact, pretty much whenever we paid, it was straight away.
Yeah.
You could go straight away. So that was really useful. It worked out about, what, £8?
Yeah, because the exchange rate is in our favour at the moment.
Yeah.
Tokyo, the yen is really weak at the moment. Yeah.
It worked out about £8 for a ride, which, considering we were only there for 5 days and that's it, we were going to do those rides.
Yeah.
So yeah, fine, we paid for it. They had a couple of other systems which we didn't really use. One was you could make what they call an entry request, which is for shows, and it's a lottery. And if you don't win a seat, I think I'm right in saying you can't go.
To certain, certain shows you can.
Yeah.
Certain shows they hold back seats for anybody. But most shows, you have to win the lottery to get to see it.
But we'd been told that basically most of the shows haven't come back to their pre-COVID glory. And in particular, Big Band Beat, which we actually saw in Disneyland Paris a few years back and was wonderful. The version at Tokyo at the moment doesn't have live singers and live musicians. So it was probably worth skipping.
It still has Mickey playing the drums.
And the other thing that you could make a reservation for, crazily enough, was certain shops, although only on very, very popular days. So first day of Christmas, the shops that had the Christmas merch, you might have to reserve a place to go in.
That's interesting. Being able to reserve a
not
space
to go in the not to go in the shop, but to actually go and buy the Christmas merchandise.
Yeah,
you have to reserve a place.
Yeah. And the other thing was gachapon machines, which are these machines where you put in some money and you get
turn a handle and you get a prize.
Yeah, you get a sort of round ball with something inside. Those we found that you couldn't actually just go and queue up and play them. You had to actually make a reservation.
Yeah,
that's how popular they are.
Yeah.
So again, we didn't bother. We did manage to do one machine. That you didn't have to queue for.
Switching back to popcorn for a second, there is in Disneyland a popcorn shop where you can buy all the flavors of popcorn and some more, and all the buckets. So if you don't want to queue up for individual buckets,
that's what you need, isn't it, Becca?
That's easier.
That's called the big pop.
I like the whole tone of this place. It makes things easier rather than all that thing. Apart from the queuing, I've got an issue with the queuing, but actually, I'll take as many popcorn buckets as possible.
We're British, so we should be pretty good at the queuing.
Yeah.
We
managed to get on most of the rides. We managed to get on most of the rides with minimal queues, either by paying or by using our time wisely. We stayed one night in a Disney hotel, which is the Ambassador Hotel, and that gave us what's called happy entry.
Sorry.
It's Ben, you broke.
Yeah.
See, I never even...
It wasn't the happy bit, it was the entry.
I didn't even smirk because I knew that's what it was called. I was being really well behaved there, Peter. Right, Ben, that's on you. That's on you. I'm accepting no responsibility for that one.
It used to be called Happy 15.
Yes.
And basically,
I don't know. I'm not sure. But
I changed it.
Happy entry.
Basically, people who stay at a Disney hotel get a 15-minute head start.
Yeah.
But you
I
have
feel like
to
they
stay
need
at
to
a
change
hotel.
the name.
I think they need to extend it. 15 minutes is not enough time.
Oh,
That's the run to the park.
Believe me, it makes a big difference. If you do not have...
translation, though, isn't it? Is that translation? Extra magic. And again, I'm saying this to dig us out of a hole here, guys, because actually, from the Western smutty perspective, we can't see why it's called that way. But actually, when you come to the Japanese language, grammatically, that actually, you can see why it's called what it's called.
Sometimes things just don't translate as well as...
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I think
you
we've done well
still
there.
have to get there early. Yeah.
Go on, Jill.
still have
Go
to
on.
get there
Tell
fairly
us. Go on,
early.
Jill. Tell us what happens next.
Right. If you are staying at one of the Disney hotels, so the Ambassador, the Tokyo, the Disneyland Hotel, the
Miracosta.
Miracosta, or Celebration, or the Toy Story
Yeah.
Hotel, you are allowed to get in 15 minutes before the general public. Now, first thing you need to know is that if they're telling people the park opens at 9, this is a fib,
Okay.
because they will tell you at the hotel it opens at 8:15. And even then, you need to get there earlier. So they started letting people in at 8 who had the happy entry. And as I say, on that one morning, that included us. And it does make a big difference. You don't necessarily get right to the front unless you are one of those hardy people who's turned up at 3:00 in the morning. But you do get in quickly. On days when we didn't have that, which was most of the days, we would get to the area outside of security, and
With an hour to spare.
it would take an hour to get to security and get through security.
Good grief.
Sounds like going
And
to London Gatwick.
yeah, we did think of maybe what happens if you turn up at 10.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
apparently we were told no, queues were that bad until 2:00 in the afternoon on some days.
Wow.
So yeah, you just buckle down and put up with it.
People start queuing for a 9:00 opening. People will start queuing at 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
And people will bring snacks with them, and they bring what they call their leisure sheets, which are these sort of plastic sheets, and sit down on the ground and have a little picnic and and wait. So yeah,
That's really interesting, because when you think of just security in Disney World, for example, it's like, okay, it's a couple of minutes, it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
actual
most
security was really quick and very easy
It's just
But
the queue
it's just
for
the
the
queue
security
to get there.
and
Yeah.
then to get there.
I mean, certainly one day going into Disneyland, the queue was about 100 meters long.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was massive.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But the day that we did have happy entry, we got in the park about 9. No, we got in the park before 9.
About 8:15.
About 8:15. We went straight for Beauty and the Beast. We hadn't paid for it. We hadn't booked anything. We just went straight there. And we were through by 9:15. And that was probably the lowest queue it had all day. And it was worth every minute. It was absolutely wonderful ride. And yeah, it was the first ride we did there, and just absolutely loved it.
Talking of the leisure sheets, one downside for me is the parade rules. Up to a certain level, you have to sit down.
Okay.
So to be able to get near the front of the parade, you have to sit down, and then people stand at the back. And these are quite regimentally done.
Which is good in that it means we get to see things without somebody's iPad in your face or somebody's kid on your shoulders. That's good.
But they start again. As soon as they get in, someone puts down a leisure sheet and they sit there all day, rotating through people in the party.
Grandma sits on the floor with a picnic basket. And
they sit there all day.
It's a bit like where people would like queue 5 hours before to see Happily Ever After. It's that big bit where it's just like, what do you mean you're setting up your camera now? It's like 3:00 in the afternoon and Happily Ever After's on at 8.
Yeah.
We got caught out on our first night when we saw the electrical parade, which, by the way, is incredible. And
is that a nighttime parade, Jill?
It is.
It's
absolutely fantastic. It is the original nighttime parade plus a million with more modern characters and more effects, and just absolutely amazing. But we started queuing for that about an hour and a half before, and we stood at what we thought was the back.
Okay.
By the time we got to about 20 minutes before the show, it was no longer the back. because everybody had come and sat down behind us. And we thought, what are we supposed to do? And a cast member came over and tried to explain that we couldn't stand there. And we tried to say, okay, so where can we stand? And it just wasn't working. So he went and got his colleague who understood us a little bit more. And she was fantastic. She showed us to a place where we could stand and have a reasonably good view. So,
Nice.
yeah, that was fine. So then when we tried the daytime parade, I'd learned my lesson. And I asked the CM, look, I can't sit on the ground.
Yeah.
Where can I stand and have a good view? And he showed me to a decent place. And
But even then, you have to.
I had to stand there for an hour and a half.
But you literally can't just turn up at the back of the queue and wait and see the parade. You have to get there. I'd say minimum of half an hour.
I've just got images of people walking through the park with like deck chairs and everything. I'm staking out my spot. That's
Oh, no deck chairs.
Yeah.
No deck chairs. No,
They all sit on the floor.
they all sit on the floor
Yeah.
on the leisure sheets.
Yes.
Yeah.
And me being a lady of advanced years and creaky knees, if I sit on the floor, I ain't getting back up
Yeah.
again.
You said a minimum of half an hour for the parades and show. And
Absolute
Minimum.
minimum.
But I would probably be recommending a minimum of half an hour for have things like Happily Ever After.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying to not get a good view.
Yeah.
To get a
Any
if you
view at
turn
all.
up, you might
Yeah.
have a tree.
any view at all.
Yeah. But yeah, as I say, the CMs were really helpful. And if you go and ask, is it all right for me to stand here? Yeah, they'll show you where you can stand.
Also, during the daytime parade, there was a gap in the parade where they let people through the parade route, across the parade route, and then the next half of the parade came.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We didn't get to go to what they call the Shibuya Scramble in Tokyo, which is the massive crossing where people sort of rush across. And I felt I didn't need to see it because having seen the rush of people in the middle of the parade, I thought, I've seen it.
Yeah, tick that box.
But the parades were worth it. They were incredible. They were absolutely amazing.
Are you planning a trip back?
Yes.
Yes.
Not planning at the
immediately.
moment, but
But
you definitely want to go back.
It's bubbling away.
Yeah.
Is there
I
something
think-
specific that you feel like you missed out on this trip?
Lots.
Yeah.
We did manage to go on most of the rides at least once. What I didn't feel I got, particularly in DisneySea, was much time to kind of sit and enjoy. DisneySea is very like Epcot in some ways, in that it's not necessarily about the rides. They do have lots of great rides.
And lots of great rides, yeah.
But there are so many areas that you can just walk around and enjoy the theming or sit and enjoy it. And I really wanted to spend some more time at the American waterfront area or Mysterious Island or Arabian Coast or Cape Cod and just sit and enjoy, taking it all in.
I would say if you can afford to stay at a Disney hotel, do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are expensive, as you would expect. The Disneyland hotel is across from Disneyland. It's behind the monorail station. It's really easy to get to.
Yeah.
The DisneySea hotel is called the Miracosta, and that is like Disneyland Paris. It's kind of over the entrance to the park.
Yeah.
And if you can pay enough, you get views inside the park. Yeah. You get the Mediterranean harbour view.
It is the most expensive Disney hotel, I believe, in the world at the moment.
So you might need to win the lottery for that one.
Yes. Yeah.
And also get a lottery to get into the shows too.
We did go for the lunchtime buffet.
Yeah.
We went there in one of their restaurants and they let us go out on the balcony and watch the harbour show that was happening.
At lunchtime.
Wow.
So
that was good.
That was fantastic. There is a new hotel being built that's opening next summer and a new area called Fantasy Springs. And that will bump up the crowds even more. But I just fell in love with Tokyo DisneySea in particular. It is the most beautiful, detailed park.
I would also recommend, if you can afford it, to do one of the vacation packages if you're staying at a Disneyland hotel, a Disney hotel. Now, you don't need to do these, and you can pay kind of individually for these things, but the hotel, but the vacation package gets you your hotel, it gets you your happy 50, your happy entry, it gets you a special popcorn bucket, which is okay. It gets you 5 fast passes,
essentially.
Essentially, and guaranteed entry to one show a day.
Okay.
And it's
also
worth it.
A big plus for me. They had seating areas, actual seating
With seating
on seats, on benches for the shows, and that would have made life a lot easier for me. In particular, believe Sea of Dreams, the nighttime show at DisneySea, which is phenomenal, absolutely beautiful. And again, we stood there for over an hour and a half, and it was worth it, even though it was freezing cold that night. But the vacation package guys were going and sitting.
Oh, wow.
Thought,
if only I paid for that,
Yeah. It's massively expensive, and you don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. But I would say, if you can afford it, do it. It's definitely worth it.
But having said that, the flip side, having said all these things are very expensive, we found that at the moment, because the yen is very weak, our actual spends went a lot further than we thought. We didn't stint ourselves.
No.
We had some great meals. We ate at Magellan's in Tokyo DisneySea. We ate at the buffet in Tokyo Disneyland Hotel. We ate at the buffet in Miracosta. We had souvenirs, bought all sorts of things, and we came back with loads more than we thought. So our money actually went really fast.
I'm wondering if it's costing. What I'm thinking is like, if people are realizing that, people are more likely to book a trip because you get add value. Where I know, like in the 2000s, and it's difficult to see.
Yeah,
we saw more non-Japanese people in Tokyo than we did in Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we were very much in the minority. Yeah. Also, it was much more expensive for the flight and the hotel than pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
But we found that when there, our money actually went really far.
While you're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I also just ask as well, primarily because, if you say that the actual exchange rate is favourable, now I think you guys actually booked a package where you actually got your tickets bought in the UK, so we're paying UK prices before you went. Would it have saved you money actually buying while you were there?
It might have done.
But it's a bit of a mute subject, really.
Yeah.
The advantages of having your tickets ready rather than having to queue. Most of the hotels on the loop have their own ticket office, so you can buy day tickets there. But at the moment, there's no park hopping at all.
Yeah,
and you can only stay in one park for that day. You can go and come back, but it has to be that one park for the whole day.
And at the moment, you can only buy single day tickets. There's no multi-day tickets, and much to the disappointment of some of our good friends that we met out there, there's currently no annual passes either.
That's probably a good thing, given how far it is and how much it costs for your flight. It avoids that whole thing about thinking, "Oh, I need to go back to make the most of my annual pass."
Yeah,
I can imagine doing Tokyo twice in 1 year. Yeah. Just like, I've got an annual pass. I think Disney miss a trick. They should do one which covers all Disney parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can just go, do you know what, I can just book a flight and just
But Tokyo is not owned by Disney.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it's that
Tokyo is
franchise
owned by
part of
the
it, isn't it?
Oriental Land Company, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Disney get 10% of every sale.
Yeah.
From popcorn to tickets, everything.
Yeah.
Disney get 10% of every sale.
But yeah, you were asking about buying tickets. There is a website that we were recommended called Klook, which will sell you attraction tickets and all sorts of tickets to various other things and various other things that you can buy, like transport tickets. In the end, the only thing we used them for, I think, in the end was the Disney tickets. But it was very, very easy to use. There are promotional codes, discounts for first timers, and so on. So yeah.
So let's get on some of the nicer things. Jill's favourite ride. What's your favourite ride?
My favourite ride. This is Chandu. Chandu can be seen on Sinbad's storybook. Is it Sinbad's Storybook Adventures?
Something like that.
Something like that.
The Sinbad ride.
It's the Sinbad ride. Or as I took to calling it eventually, the Chandu ride. That just shows where my heart is. Because basically it's kind of like It's a Small World. It's a boat ride and you follow Sinbad around all his adventures. And in every scene, you will see Chandu doing something unbearably cute.
Like in one scene, he's bouncing up and down on a big drum.
Yeah. He's popping out from a load of bananas. And yes, apparently you can smell bananas at that point, but it was very faint.
It was very faint.
Peter was fine.
Yeah.
We did it twice. We made sure it was the first ride that we did. It never has a queue.
Okay.
Well, it did on the second.
It did on the second day, but again, not a very long.
It was only 30 minutes.
Yeah. So that was my absolute favourite ride. As you know, I'm a big fan of It's a Small World. This is kind of the plussed version, and with better music. Sorry, Sherman Brothers, but Alan Menken wrote the song for this one.
Oh wow!
It's called Compass of Your Heart.
Yeah,
it's in Japanese, apart from the lyrics "Compass of Your Heart," but you can actually find versions of Alan Menken singing it in English on YouTube.
And it has some of the biggest Disney animatronics you will ever see.
Yeah,
a giant and a whale. They are massive.
Yeah,
massive animatronics.
I mean, if I could,
you sold me when you said Alan Menken. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Look up Alan Menken, "Compass of Your Heart." It's just the most
it's a great song.
Beautiful tune.
Yeah. But
Peter, what was your favourite ride?
Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
Okay.
Which is a kind of it's an adventure ride where you go. The theming around the entrance is brilliant. You go into a lift. And I don't know whether it's a lift or whether it's just
sort of theming, sort of.
Yeah, but it feels like you're in a juddery lift, and I can't make up my mind whether. And that takes you down to where the ride vehicles are, and the ride vehicles are plough-shaped, big vehicles that take you through the underground, and there's underground lightning. There's
big monster
at the end, and then it goes into it's all nice and it's all beautiful. Then you see the big monster. The car speeds up. You speed up a ramp, down a hill, and out. And it's kind of nearest thing I can think of is a test track.
The ride system is the same as test track, isn't it? But wilder.
It's kind of test track, but wilder.
Yeah.
Like test track mixed with dinosaur.
Yeah. But it's really good. The other one I liked was they have a version of Indiana Jones that's at Anaheim.
Yeah.
But I hadn't been on it before, and that's terrific.
Yeah.
And if that's going to replace dinosaur, like the
rumors say,
it will definitely be worth it. Yeah. Definitely be worth it.
There's also lots of ways to get round the parks. Certainly to get round DisneySea, you can go across the the various lagoons and lakes and things on various steamers. There's gondolas
In the Venice
in the Venice
area,
area. There's
proper
a
Venetian gondolas.
little train that goes between two of the lands, and it's worth taking time out to do those as well.
Yeah. But the theming in places is next level, particularly on the American waterfront.
Yeah.
That's really good. The other thing about DisneySea is that it's the home of Duffy. And if you don't like Duffy in Tokyo is massive.
Yeah.
And kind of makes sense because in Japan, everything has a mascot.
Yeah.
Train lines have a mascot. Shops have a mascot. Towns have a mascot.
And they like cute things. They really like cute things.
So Gelatoni.
We got Gelatoni, who's a
Yeah.
friend of Duffy.
Yeah.
But also Duffy comes from Tokyo.
Yeah.
From Tokyo DisneySea, the American waterfront. That's his home. That's where it comes from, and he's massive in all the eastern parks.
And it's probably the reason why we don't really understand Duffy, because we've not been to those parks and got the story of it.
I think
And where it's so easy
yeah.
for us to go, okay, we see Mickey, we see Minnie, we see Goofy, we get it,
Yeah.
we understand that. But Duffy being just more exclusive to those parks makes it a bit more awkward for us to go, okay, I get what that's from. So
we've met Duffy in Epcot years back, but he never really took off in the American parks and certainly not in Disneyland Paris. But yeah, he makes total sense out there.
The other ride I liked is their version of Tara Terra, which is a different plot altogether. In the program that it's based on never made it to Tokyo. So they have this situation where Harrison Hightower is the owner of this hotel, and he's a member of the SEA, and of course DisneySea is the home of SEA.
Society of
Explorers and
Adventurers.
Adventurers.
And he has brought loads of things back from his travels, but he's not a nice man. He gets this idol and brings it back, and it kind of messes about, abuses the idol, and the idol sends him plummeting down in a lift. And the hotel is now in disrepair, but the local people from New York, because the hotel's set in New York, it's the American waterfront, are giving tours. But the idol is still around. Hence, you have the drops. It's
and
really
Harrison
good.
Hightower looks an awfully lot like Joe Rody.
Joe Rody, yeah, he does.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just about to say that, Ben, as well.
Yeah.
It's just like
I love that. I remember watching it. Was that on the Imagineering Story? Or, Honey Attraction for Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's I love that. That's incredible.
I have to say, although we've concentrated very much on rides at DisneySea, Disneyland has some amazing rides as well. Pooh's Honey Hunt, which is kind of similar to the version at Walt Disney World, but again, next level.
It's a trackless one as well.
It's a trackless ride. It's much more intricate. It's really beautifully done. Beauty and the Beast, as I've said, and the one that turned out to be my favourite completely unexpectedly was Baymax's Happy Ride.
Oh, that's Alien Swirling Saucers.
Now,
wow,
I really, really hated Alien Swirling Saucers because I found it very rough and juddery.
Okay.
This, not only is it a really smooth ride, but also the premise of it is that Baymax, being a healthcare assistant, is trying to get you to take exercise and be happy by, raising your endorphins and doing dances and songs and so on. So that's kind of the premise. And as you walk in, you see all these placards that show you all about the different moves and the different dances and different songs. And actually, when people are waiting to go on the ride, the cast members and the crowd will join in the songs and the dances. And there is a CD of the different songs. There's the one we heard was fist bump ba la la la, and It's
you know
just
what?
such fun.
Baymax just makes everybody smile.
It does,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And along with Baymax comes Mochi, the cat.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. And in fact, near the Baymax ride, there are vending machines that
Vending
are,
machines are big in Japan
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Massive.
but these two vending machines they're like cats, but you know Baymax in his red armor? They're sort of like that. So they're like a cat version of Baymax in the armor.
Oh,
And that's the vending machine. And on top of those, you will see a little model of Mochi, and you can hear him purring.
oh. All I can
That
think
is
of is
cute, yeah.
furry baby.
Furry baby.
baby.
Furry baby. Yeah.
Some of the snacks that you should try. Mike Wazowski melon bread. Now, melon bread is normally just a sweet bread that is shaped like a melon. But the Mike Wazowski melon bread looks like Mike Wazowski, and tastes like melon.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And the green alien mochi. You know what mochi are? Yeah. Well, they
I've
have
seen them,
mochi.
yeah.
Like green aliens.
Yes.
Yeah. They're another one you have to try.
Yeah. We also had a
Gyoza dog.
dog. So not a hot dog, like a sort of sausagey filling in a big long bao bun. And that was delicious as well. What else did we try?
This is making me really hungry now.
Some of the places to eat are worth going in, even if you don't have much. We went into the Queen of Hearts banqueting hall, and all we had was a corn soup and a drink because we weren't very hungry. But we just wanted a chance to go in and see it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The theming is brilliant. Yeah.
How do you plan for the food? Is it a bit like Walt Disney World where you have to dine in reservations 60 days before? Or is it like on the day?
It's definitely on the day.
If you are staying at a Disney hotel, you can book in advance. I think it's about a month or so in advance.
Okay.
And I did the whole get up at 1 a.m. thing, our time.
Yeah.
And I managed to book Magellan's for our first day in the parks and restaurant Hokusai, which is a Japanese restaurant, for the second day. And I'm so glad that we did. You can apparently book a month in advance if you are lucky enough to be able to get on the website and make a reservation, or there are reservations available on the day. But again, as soon as people get through that gate and get their ticket,
they're queuing to get the reservation. They're on it to get it.
Yeah. So
like
we
was like in the boarding group for like Rise of Resistance and
Guardian.
Yeah. I'm in the park. Everyone's pressing that button at the same time.
But we found that we tended to have our main meal in the evening apart from those two.
Okay.
And there were quite a few places to eat in Xperi, which it's more like downtown Disney in Anaheim, I guess.
It's a big shopping mall,
It's
really.
certainly not Disney Springs level.
Yeah.
It is a shopping mall, but it has a reasonable amount of restaurants. We booked one evening for a very special meal. That's sukiyaki, which is where you have the thin beef that's cooked on a grill in a skillet in front of you, and also shabu shabu, which is where it's dipped into a broth. And someone comes and serves you and brings you all the various different courses and accoutrements and so on, and it's a very special thing. And we did that as our anniversary meal.
Oh, lovely.
But
as we wrap up this Tokyo segment, I want to talk a little bit about the planning of your trip, but also I know there was a lot about your flights because there was a particular airline you chose.
Yeah, we chose Japan Airlines, who were slightly more expensive than British Airways, although not stupidly more expensive. But we've been told so much about they have the best economy, the best comfort. They've got wider seats. They've got bigger pitch. And I'm not a small person. I do not find it easier to sit in an economy seat for a long journey. but I had plenty of room. I could stretch my legs out. I could bring the tray up in front of me and put my food down flat, which I couldn't do on Virgin, even in premium economy. The tray kind of sat like this. And the food was incredible. The packaging was beautiful.
It was.
I mean, yes, it's still airline food,
but it's
not
very good.
it's not Michelin star, but it was delicious. Everything was fresh. Everything was tasty. Everything was beautifully packaged. The service was wonderful. I would definitely fly with them again. Yes, it's a 13-hour flight and it's a 9-hour time difference, so the jet lag is a killer. But yeah, I'd go with them
I need to get
again.
my calculator out to work out what time that actually is.
Yeah, well, put it this
it's like I'm here and it's like,
Yeah.
when you land,
Put
you
it
lose
this
a day,
way.
so you land in the evening.
Yeah, you lose a day. We took off at 10 o'clock in the morning and we landed about 9 o'clock the next morning.
Okay. But by the time your head's got around that,
Yeah. Cool.
The other thing I want to say is we had a lot of help in the planning from various sources, and the ones I would recommend, TDR Explorer.
Yeah.
He has a website, he has a YouTube channel, and he has an ebook, and all of those were extremely helpful in planning. And
that's pretty good.
Chris, if you're watching this, please come and talk to us sometime. We would love to. we just missed him. He was in the park the day we arrived, and we didn't get there that day. But he makes great videos. Two guys that we did manage to meet up with.
And gave us a 100th anniversary.
Shout out, yes. Alex and Jordan from Land of the Rising Fun podcast. They are locals and they will give you lots of good information and useful information about how things are. And the other sources, there's a woman called Amy whose YouTube channel is Cakes with Faces. She's General Japan, and she's got a book that is incredibly helpful for planning. And again, a YouTube channel to check out. And the other one, much more general for Japan and not for watching with children, or at least small children, is Abroad in Japan. There's a guy called Chris Broad. Very funny. He's very British. Can be very sweary. So, definitely not family friendly, but
he's
enormous
definitely
fun.
good for Japan itself, living in Japan, getting around Japan.
Do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. And extremely funny as well.
He's very funny, yeah.
See, I think we all now want to book that trip to Tokyo, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Do it. Do it.
I think it's one of those things, and I know we briefly mentioned about Anaheim. It's just, when you've been to Walt Disney World so many times, Disneyland Paris is our home park because it's so close to us.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like we need to take that next step into another Disney park.
Which one do you want to do?
So what have we got left? We've got Anaheim, we've got Tokyo, Shanghai,
and
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I think one of us needs to win the Euro Millions and all of us go.
Yeah.
on the broad
Yeah.
There's a thought. There's a thought.
As I say, although this holiday was shorter than our Walt Disney World holiday and not as long as we would have liked, it cost us a lot less, actually.
Okay.
So,
Really?
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good.
Overall, yes.
Yeah.
But by how much you've spent out
Plus
there.
a couple of thousand less.
Yeah.
Even though flight prices, like, as with everything now since before the pandemic and now after, how much price has changed and where things may have been cheaper before, it depends on where you're spending that extra bit of money.
And we did stay in a very nice hotel. We didn't stint on the hotel. It's a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
So, we could have stayed cheaper.
Yeah.
I think, Peter, as well, I think that's quite an important thing, though. If you go into somewhere where you don't particularly know and you're not particularly sort of au fait with exactly what the situation is, I think the more quality place that you're staying in, the better support that you're going to get. And also, you're kind of going to feel a bit safer as well. I think that comes.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, people tend to not think about it. I know certainly I was in Hong Kong prior to Disney actually being in Hong Kong, and stayed in a couple of really shady places that actually look back and you think I wouldn't go and stay there as a family, but it was the days before kids and stuff like that, and you can deal with it yourself, but you just sort of think, well, again, coming back to the cultural thing, you go and whatever you can afford, go and enjoy it. It sounds as if you guys have run out. Absolute blast in what you've done. It's been an absolute joy to listen to that.
It's been fantastic. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm just so really inspiring. Go out. Because I know it's been on the list for a while.
3 years. Yeah,
we
waited.
I was looking back at our WhatsApp chat the other day from the early days of the Waffle, 2019. And we were talking about, we'll be on our Tokyo trip by then. And, so many days until our Tokyo trip. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, it's been a long time in the planning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so glad.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, I just want to mention, just as an example of how lovely everybody is in the Disney parks. Just like you have cast compliments in the American parks, they gave us things that you can give to cast members to appreciate something that they've done for you. So when you go into one of the shops and you buy something, sometimes you will get this
it's a sheet of paper. Rip off.
Yeah, and they're little triangles, little pennants, and they say something like, "You were awesome," and "Thanks for a good job," in English. And you can sort of rip those up and you can give them to one of the cast members who's done a good job for you. And we didn't get to give as many as we wanted, but one day after we'd done, we were doing the railroad in Disneyland, and I noticed it was up quite a lot of steps. So I went to a cast member and I said, "Elevator?" Because it's all American English out there. So if you say elevator, trash can, they know what you mean. So elevator, yes, fine. He took us all the way around to the elevator. He got us up there. He basically put us in a separate area where we could sit in a carriage that had more space. That's obviously where they put people with additional needs. And he just looked after us so well that I gave him one of these little pennants.
Oh, that's lovely.
My gosh, their faces light up. They love it.
Yeah.
They are so grateful. And so, yeah. And they all wave at you from the train. And it's just so lovely.
Wonderful.
Planning a trip to Florida? Planning a cruise? Plan on just getting away anywhere in the world. Forward Travel are your first and only stop along the way, making moments into memories. Contact them through our website or through their Facebook and Instagram profile and tell them that the Great British Mickey Waffle sent you there. And may your next magical adventure begin.
That's a wrap on another episode of the Great British Mickey Waffle. We hope you've enjoyed our journey through Tokyo Disney with Gill and Peter, and that you've gathered some valuable insights if you're planning your next adventure. So don't forget to check out our 100 other episodes on YouTube and also on your favourite podcast app, where we delve into all things Disney and help you plan that next trip. And for continued Disney discussions with fun, join us in the Wafflers Arms, our growing Facebook community, where Disney fans gather to share their love, memories and opinions. You can also find us on our social media channels, which includes Threads, Facebook and Instagram at GB Mickey Waffle. So keep the Disney magic alive by following us, engaging with our content and sharing your own Disney experiences. Now there's just one thing left to say. Waffle on.
Waffle on.
And happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And we'll see you real soon.